People at the wedding hall froze when the groom stepped away from the altar and said the words no bride should ever hear, "I can't do this. I don't love you." Amara's bouquet slipped from her trembling fingers, petals scattering across the marble floor like shards of her breaking heart. Guests gasped. Cameras clicked. Someone even laughed in the back. But the one sound she couldn't bear was the quiet whisper from her own mother. "I told you he was too good for you." Amara didn't run. She didn't scream. She simply stood there, silent, shaking, and humiliated, while her fiancé walked out of the hall without looking back. And in the midst of that disaster, a man dressed in a simple navy suit rose from the last row. His eyes, warm and worried, were fixed only on her. His name was Elias Grant, billionaire CEO of Grant Industries, America's youngest tech mogul, and the boy who had loved her quietly for 10 years. He approached her gently, brushing a fallen petal off her dress as if it were breaking his heart to see her hurt. "Amara," he whispered, "come with me. You don't have to stay here." Those words, so soft, so sincere, were the only thing that kept her from collapsing. The drive home. Amara sat in Elias's luxurious car, wedding dress pulled around her like a cloud. She stared out the window, unable to stop the tears. "Why did he leave me, Elias? What did I do wrong?" she whispered. "You did nothing wrong," Elias replied firmly. "Some people don't know how to value what they have. But I do." His voice cracked on the last word, though he tried to hide it. She turned to him. "Why did you even come? You barely talk to me anymore." He swallowed. "Because I could never stay away from you. Not today. Not ever." Her heart stuttered, but she didn't have the strength to understand it yet. In the penthouse. Elias took her to his penthouse, an entire floor of warm lights, soft music, and comforting scents. He handed her a plush robe and gently removed the wedding veil tangled in her hair. "Why are you being so kind to me?" she asked shakily. "Because I love you," he said, without hesitation, without fear, without expecting anything back. "I have loved you since we were 19. Amara froze. Elias continued, voice low and emotional. "I watched you fall for someone who didn't deserve you, and I stayed quiet because your happiness mattered more than my feelings. But today, seeing you break like that, I couldn't stay silent anymore." Tears streamed down her face again, but this time, not from heartbreak. Challenges they faced. 1. Her shattered confidence. Amara felt unworthy, unloved, abandoned. Elias spent days reminding her. "You're stronger than what he did to you." Every night he cooked for her, walked with her, talked with her until she laughed again. 2. Public humiliation. Social media exploded. Dumped bride. Groom escapes wedding. Rumors spread cruelly. Elias stood before reporters, shielding her completely. "If anyone targets Amara, they deal with me." 3. Her guilt. Amara felt like she was using Elias to heal. But one day he took her hands and said, "You don't owe me anything. Just let me be here for you." 4. The ex-fiancé returning. Weeks later, the same man who humiliated her returned, wanting her back after learning Elias was involved. Elias let Amara answer for herself. And she did. "I waited for you to love me," she said calmly. "But he loved me for 10 years without asking for anything. I choose him." It was the first time she saw Elias's eyes shine with hope instead of quiet longing. The new beginning. Elias didn't rush her. He didn't push her. He simply stayed, steady, gentle, patient. One evening, as they watched the city lights below the penthouse balcony, Amara leaned her head on his shoulder. "Elias," she whispered, "take me home." He frowned. "You are home." "No," she smiled softly. "I mean, take me home to you. To us." His breath caught. "Are you sure?" She nodded. "You've loved me for 10 years. Let me spend the next 10 loving you back." He pulled her into his arms, holding her tighter than ever. The strong, inspiring message. Sometimes the person you think is your entire world walks away. So the one who will actually treasure you can walk in. Amara learned that heartbreak doesn't end you. It leads you to where you were always meant to be. And Elias proved that real love doesn't rush. It waits. Even if it takes 10 years. The morning sunlight filled Elias's penthouse, painting the walls in soft gold. Amara woke slowly, wrapped not just in a warm blanket but in the quiet safety she had never felt even during her engagement. Yet her first thought was not comfort. It was fear. Fear that she didn't belong here. Fear that Elias was being kind out of pity. Fear that she was becoming a burden. She sat up, pressing her hands to her face as her heart thudded painfully. What if I'm just another responsibility for him? The thought tore her apart. That was the first challenge of Chapter 2. Elias walks in. Elias entered with a breakfast tray, fresh fruit, pancakes, warm tea, balancing it with awkward care like he'd practiced it several times before approaching her. He smiled when he saw her awake, but his expression changed immediately when he noticed the tears in her eyes. Amara, did you have a nightmare? She shook her head, voice barely a whisper. No. I'm just scared. He set the tray down and sat beside her. Of me? No, Elias. I'm scared you'll realize I'm not worth all this. Elias didn't answer immediately. Instead, he reached for her trembling hands and held them firmly, gently, but with a warmth that felt like a promise. Amara, he said, you don't have to be perfect for me to love you. I don't love you because you're flawless. I love you because you're you. That only made her cry harder. The first step out of hiding. Elias knew Amara couldn't heal if she stayed hidden forever. So he suggested something that terrified her. Come to my office with me today, he said. Not as a public announcement. Not for the media. Just, come see my world. Amara hesitated. It's too soon. People know what happened. They'll stare. They stare at me every day, he replied calmly. I won't let anyone hurt you. She didn't say yes. But she didn't say no either. At Grant Industries. Employees whispered the moment they saw her enter beside Elias. Not with cruelty. But with surprise. The CEO, who never brought anyone to the office, was now carrying Amara's bag, guiding her gently through the halls, opening every door for her. Some women looked at her with admiration. Some men whispered, is that her? The bride from the news. And Amara's chest tightened painfully. Elias sensed it instantly and leaned close. If anyone makes you uncomfortable, tell me. I'll take care of it. She managed a small nod. The jealous vice president. Not everyone was happy. Clara Reynolds, Elias's vice president, had secretly loved him for years. She had always believed she would be the woman standing at his side. Seeing Amara, heartbroken, vulnerable, uncertain, walk into Elias's world made something ugly twist inside Clara. So she acted on it. At lunchtime, she approached Amara with a polite smile that didn't reach her eyes. You must be exhausted, Clara said sweetly. Everything that happened at the wedding. I can only imagine how embarrassing it was. Amara flinched. Clara continued softly, Elias is a kind man. But I just hope you're not mistaking kindness for something else. Amara felt her throat close. Are you saying I shouldn't be here? Clara shrugged lightly. I'm saying Elias deserves someone who strengthens him professionally, not someone who brings attention he doesn't need. He's already stressed enough. Amara's heart sank. All her insecurities from the morning returned, sharp, painful, overwhelming. I understand, she whispered. Clara smiled in victory. The breaking point. When Elias returned from a meeting, he found Amara standing alone near the elevator, shaking, eyes filled with panic. Amara. What happened? I shouldn't be here, she choked. You need someone strong. Someone who belongs in your world. Not someone who brings bad attention or makes your life harder. Elias froze for a moment. Then his jaw tightened in a way Amara had never seen. Who told you that? She hesitated. Elias stepped closer. Tell me. Clara. Elias closed his eyes, exhaling slowly, not from anger, but from pain. Pain that someone hurt the woman he loved. Come with me, he said, taking her hand. The moment of truth. He led her not to his office. Not to Clara. but to the rooftop, his refuge, the only place he went when he needed clarity. The wind was soft. The city spread beneath them like a sea of lights. Amara's tears glistened in the sunlight. Elias faced her fully. "Amara, look at me." She lifted her eyes. "I don't want strength from you. I don't want perfection. I don't need a business partner or someone who impresses my board." His voice softened. "I just want you. With your fear, your pain, your doubts, your heart. All of it." Amara's lip trembled. "But I'm broken, Elias." He cupped her cheeks gently. "Then let me love you until you're whole again." She broke down, falling into his arms. And he held her like he had been waiting 10 years for this moment. Chapter 2 Message. Healing doesn't happen in silence. Love doesn't grow in fear. Amara learned that pain doesn't make her unworthy. And Elias proved that real love does not abandon you when you're fragile. It chooses you even when you can't choose yourself yet.